are starting right. Yeah, we are starting right on time because Scrum is all about time and timing, time frame. I mean, everything belongs to time, time, time. So you'll come to know about it, what I'm talking about. Uh, and I'm really very, very happy to hold a session like this. We have done this a lot of times before also, and many have been benefited, and they are all there in various jobs. This particular session that we are going to have is a long session which Adigar will take through, and we're going to have hand holding all through. I mean, you should not feel that, okay, today demo and they're all gone. We are going to really hand hold you till you reach your destination. మీకు వాడుకున్నోడికి వాడుకున్నంత రియలీ ఐమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ దట్ సెంటెన్స్ ఇస్ రియలీ దేర్ సో ప్లీజ్ make full use of it. I know this is not the best of the job season, but when you are prepared, the first chance that you get, you can grab it. So that's the whole idea about it. Adigar will talk about what are the prospects also on the job front, etc. So before we start, anybody wants to say anything? Anybody on the preliminary? Anybody wants to say anything on earth? Please talk about it.
Hi, this is Rao here. Are there any more disclaimers before we start?
Yeah, it's going to be there. Shashank will first run through all that, Atmiya, everything, and then after that, Adigar will take out. Thank you. Shashank?
Yes, Adigar. You want me to go ahead, Andy?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, just a quick introduction about Atmiya Andy. I know there are many people who are not members who joined the session from our community. So Atmiya is a Telugu community organization with almost a network of 4,000 to 5,000 families in US and almost like touching 10,000 in India. Atmiya, as you know, మీకు తెలిసిందే, there are 6 services, fabric services, and our training sessions and tech sessions come under the Asara service, where all our community members are getting benefited through different sorts of trainings, and we are also providing recordings for these trainings only for Atmiya paid donor members from US. So we request everyone to please take Atmiya membership. And regarding the other services also, they are also premium, so you'll have all access to every session which happens in Atmiya if you're a paid donor member. That's it about Atmiya, Adigaru. You can go ahead, Andy. Thanks so much for taking these sessions. These are very helpful. And నాకు తెలుసు personal గా how much Scrum certifications and Agile certifications help అని. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Sachin Garu, and thank you, Atmiya, for conducting this. Hi, everyone. So we have around 66 members joined so far. Okay, so I'll start. So you all know the buzzword of Scrum, and nowadays Scrum Master and Scrum Agile. These all are common, and we are here to understand what exactly the Agile practice is, Agile methodology, and what exactly the Scrum, what exactly Scrum Master, what do we do, why do we need Scrum Masters in the market, and first of all, why do we need Agile in first place? So we'll go through everything. I'll try to keep it as a time boxed, as Banu said. It will be 1 plus a little over 1 hour. I'll walk you through everything and what is our next steps. So stay tuned, and thank you all for joining, first of all. Thanks for showing the interest. Okay. So the topics that we will be covering today is just mentioned, like what is Scrum and why do we need Scrum Masters. And before we get into any new role or any role as a Scrum Master or as any role, so we need to understand like what exactly the employer is looking for from us. if we know what employer is looking for, it is easy for us to deliver. If we don't know what their expectations are, and then it is very hard for us to meet their expectations. So that is one thing that we'll be talking about. And different development methodologies. So what Agile is purely is one of the development methodology. So before we talk about Agile methodology, we need to compare that Agile methodology with something else. What was it in the past, and how that was not working out, and why, what kind of improvements that we did in this new methodology, and how it is helping. And industry challenges, what kind of challenges that industry is facing, and why are we getting into this new market as Agile or Scrum, and what is the advantage that we get, what if we step into as a new member into this Agile space, and how does your career look like. So we'll be talking about all these topics, and the topics that we'll be covering in our training session, we'll be talking about, and safe certifications. What is the advantage of different certifications, and why do we need that, and how it will be helpful? That is another thing that we'll talk about, and how interview can be handled, and what they expect from us, and what are our next steps to continue the training sessions. So these are the topics that will be covered. And Tim, please unmute yourself if you have anything else or you wanted to know. And we want these sessions to be very interactive, and you want to be a Scrum Master, you need to speak. That is the investment. And if you're not open talker, or if you are introvert, this might not be the right role, or even if it is the right role, you may feel a little bit challenging. Okay, so please open up and unmute yourself and speak up anything that you want. Anybody want to know anything else apart from this?
సో స్క్రమ్ రోల్ అన్ని ప్రాజెక్ట్ మేనేజ్మెంట్స్ లో ఉంటాయండి, లేకపోతే ఇట్స్ సెపరేట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద పిఎంపి అండి?
It's completely different from PMP అండి. Okay, it's we'll talk about that definitely, for sure. I will add that as a point. Why we are coming out of PMP, and what is different managerial role versus the servant leader role. We'll talk about it.
స్క్రమ్ తో పాటు జీరా కూడా నేర్పిస్తారా ఎట్లాగా?
We'll go through the Jira definitely. Yes, that is one of the
it's a part
essential.
of it.
Yes.
Are they interlinked, Scrum and Jira, or they like?
It is not directly interlinked. Knowing Jira doesn't mean that you're Agile. Or using Agile doesn't mean you have to use Jira, but some tool that needs to facilitate to help you run your Agile ceremonies or Scrum ceremonies.
Yeah, most of your questions will be answered once we finish the presentation, Andy. I think we are just going one step ahead of what we want to really tell you. And then ఒక్కసారి ఇది చేసిన తర్వాత మీకు ఏమన్నా questions ఉంటే definitely we want to answer them. And as I've told you, you are in the right hands. I think Adigar had been my guru, my everything. I am from a non-IT background, and what I am today is all because of him. And I think it's going to be a very wonderful session and path to. Yeah, please mute yourself, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you, Bhanugar. Thank you. That's a good questions that definitely we cover everything as we go along. Some of these directly answered in here, and some of these in the regular sessions, we compare everything, how PMI and what are the challenges with the PMI and why we are heading towards Agile. That's all covered. And coming back to about ourselves, I'm Adi Gopalam. I'm from Andhra, particularly Guntur. I'm a certified Scrum Master and SPC. SPC is a scaled practitioner certification. This is basically, I can enable certifications on the safe space. And along with me, Banu Siddham, who is our co-trainer. Banugar, can you take a minute?
Everyone, I'm sure everybody knows about me, but I'll introduce myself. I'm Banu Siddham. I am currently in Austin, Texas. And then in India, it's very difficult where I am from, but I'm settled in Hyderabad. I'm certified CSM, SSM, RTE. You'll be wondering what are all this if in case you're attending for the first time. This is first thing is Scrum Master certification. Second one is Safe certification, and then RTE is the recent addition to my CAP, which is Release Train Engineer. So all these are good to haves and must haves for a proper interview if you are going through, which Adivar Garu is going to run through. Just stay with us, and then you'll know the importance of all these certifications as well. Anything else, please ask me. I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Anagaru. And coming back to us, so we both are like anybody in here who are experienced and who are not experienced. So we are just like you. And only thing we can say is like we started our career little ahead, and people who are starting or just started, there is no much difference. We know little more, and we are here to help. We are eagerly here to help anybody who wanted really help. And feel free. This is the building our community, and utilize this opportunity. We have a lot of patience. We have plenty of time, and uplifting our community is the utmost goal for us, along with Atmiya. And Atmiya is formed just because of on this ground, and we wanted to learn from each other. It's not that we only know everything and you don't know anything, right? We'll be learning from you. That is the better objective. We learn from each other. All right. So let us jump into our core
A
objective.
quick question, Andy.
Yes, sir.
How long do we have this training, Andy?
Yeah, that will be covered. That will be covered at the end of these slides. We'll walk you through on that.
Yeah, that depends upon where you want to end your learning.
Yeah, there are 3 steps of learning. So that is one thing that will take you.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All
All right.
question,
Scrum Master. Yes, Andy.
ఇప్పుడు స్క్రమ్ ట్రైనింగ్ తీసుకున్న తర్వాత డెఫినెట్ గా మనము సర్టిఫికేషన్ కూడా చేయాలండి టు గెట్ ఎ జాబ్.
Certification cheyal. There is definitely no need of a certification, but unfortunately, to filter our profiles, they're expecting you to have a certification.
ఈ తెలుగుకి కొంచెం బాగా క్రేజ్ ఎక్కువ అండి. సర్టిఫికేషన్స్ ఉంటే ఆహా ఓహో అని చెప్పేసి ముచ్చటపడుతుంటారు. కాబట్టి అది ఉంటేనే ఎక్కడో ఒక మూల పడి ఉంటే ఓకే వీడు సర్టిఫికేషన్ ఉన్నాడు కాబట్టి దెర్ విల్ బి మోర్ వెయిటేజ్. ఇప్పుడు మీరును
Additional confidence.
యా
Yes.
యా మీరును ఇంకెవరన్నా ఉన్నారనుకోండి, వాళ్ళిద్దరూ చెరొక 90 పాయింట్స్ వస్తే కొంచెం 91 పాయింట్స్ రావడానికి సహకరిస్తుంది.
Particularly your resume filtration process, this helps you a lot. Having a badge on your profile, not having the badge on your profile, it matters a lot. Imagine when you're looking for a job, when you apply for a job in this current market condition, every resume, if you have one position open, at least 200 to 300 profiles are submitted. Within the 200, 300 profiles, the recruiter hardly have 37 seconds to look into your profile. The first thing when they open the badges, if the badges are highlighted, then they further spend time on to look into that. Right? That is the only way to filter these profiles. So 37 seconds lo mana profile ni impress cheyali ante it's good to have badges. And not only that, it's like some cases, what do you say? Confidence building is another aspect, right? People trust you if you're coming from MIT, right? Whether you are knowledgeable or not doesn't matter. Compared to Ambani, I don't think Ambani went to any of the business schools, but he is still more knowledgeable, more intellectual, or more business oriented compared to any of the people who went to the business schools, right? But whom do we trust? People from the business school with the certification from the business school, right? That's an unfortunate reality. But anyway, good question. We'll talk all of these in the further slides.
Just
Q&A లాస్ట్ లో కొద్దిగా టైం తీసి ఓపెన్ చేయండి ఫ్లోర్.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'll be there.
Sorry.
Sir, Adigar, just you mentioned some 37 seconds. What is that? Is that
37 seconds is
elevated talk you're talking about, or?
No, it's a profile screening. Let us say I want this job, right? I want to hire one person. if I send a job requirement, people send at least 200 to 300 profiles. And to screening through all these profiles, it may take so much of time. So on average, the profile screening takes 37 seconds, and your resume needs to be colorful or perfect look to impress the person who is screening through, to say that, yes, this is the profile I wanted to spend further time on it. Otherwise, you take it out and go to the next profile.
Super. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so the core objective here is to understand what is Scrum Master. I'm not sure anybody who doesn't know what is Scrum and what is Scrum Master at this stage, because Scrum started back in 2000, late 2000s. And it became a buzzword everywhere. So I'm not going too deep into, but what Scrum Master is, it's a Scrum Master, I would say, is a parent of a family. If you understand the responsibilities of a parent in a family, you will be a successful Scrum Master. And particularly for girls, this is inbuilt skill. And this is, you are perfect Scrum Masters by now. Why? Is these are the key responsibilities as a Scrum Master. So you need to be a servant leader. So you help them. You're not a leader, but you will be a servant. And you will be a manager wherever that you want. You need to use your whip, and you need to guide them, and you need to mentor. At the same time, you need to use a whip wherever things are not going straight. Right? That's what exactly we do as a parent, right? And facilitator, you make sure you're a facilitator, just like kids going to school. What do? We make sure that kids get ready and make sure they're going on time. So the same way that we will be doing here as well, as a facilitator, to make sure our adult kids who are our employees or like team members of our Scrum, they have everything that they wanted to get ready to run the Scrum. And change agent, ninja, coach, teacher, mentor. So these are the core characteristics, and these all are inbuilt characteristics that we have. And there are three major aspects that you need to look into. Scrum Master is a servant leader, and this is, the servant is going away. There is no longer a servant leader, and Scrum Master in modern days turn out to be a leader, and eventually it will emerge as a leader. So the role of a Scrum Master is basically a manager or project manager equivalent role. So people who are interested in managing teams or are driving towards the success, they are the good fit for this role. And the second one is about the coach and teacher. So he has to be a coach, he has to be a teacher. So the difference between teacher and coach, there's a huge difference. Teacher is someone who will guide or train people who doesn't know anything. And that is exactly what we do as a Scrum Master, but that is very minimal job. You work as a teacher, but you as a coach, that is very important. So why do we need coaches? Take an example of any of our sports stars like Sachin Tendulkar, PV Sindhu. Everybody, even though they are the perfect or the topmost of their skill, they still have some areas that are lacking. And that is where they need some coaches to put them in the right direction. That's exactly what you do as a coach. Whom you will be working with is a matured or experienced team members, developers or testers or BAs or your business stakeholders. Anybody, they are matured, but they may be having a little bit of lack of skills. That is exactly the coaching that you do as a Scrum Master. Okay, so that is most important. And sometimes the coaching levels also different, right? Take PV Sindhu as an example. PV Sindhu earlier, Gopi Chand was training, and all of a sudden, very recently, Kim, if I remember correctly, Kim is one of the coach who is helping, because she already picked all the skills from Gopi Chand, and now she wanted extra skills wherever she's lagging, and she hired a new coach. So that is how you need to improve your skills of coaching. That is most important. And any of these that you're seeing in the black, these are the hidden skills. You don't own the responsibility as a manager, or you don't own the hat of a manager. And you need to be a ninja for everywhere. And this is another hidden skill. Okay, so this is what Scrum Master. But We keep calling Scrum Master, and why do we need Scrum Master? What exactly is Scrum Master? What is Agile, right? Agile is not something that is one simple framework, just like any other frameworks, or like I have very good examples to go over, but bear with me here. So Agile is a methodology, as we discussed, and this is an umbrella of methodology. And under Agile, we have so many different frameworks. Scrum, Lean, Kanban, Extreme Programming, which is XP, CI, CD, FDD, TDD. So these all are lightweight Agile frameworks, so which is good for one team. The one on the right side that you see here is a Scrum of Scrums, Scrum at Scale, Large Scale, Scaled Agile Framework, DAD, which is Disciplined Agile. So these all are like a fuller approaches. What does it mean is, Scrum is very good for one team running individually, not depending on anybody or little dependency with any other. And it is very good fit. But none of these organizations are small enough to handle one team. So there are so much of dependency from top to bottom, horizontally, vertically. So they need to have collaboration and dependencies across all different teams. So instead of going with the left side practices, if you go on the right side practices, which is very good fit for any size of organizations, the organization scaled, there are ABC categories, right? The small level organization, medium level organization, and enterprise level organization. So the right side is one that is good fit for any of the organization at any size, but that handles the multiple teams. So we will learn more about this, but you will be hearing these buzzwords more and more. Very popular in these is the Scrum is one of the popular, the most popular. When you say Agile, that is by default Scrum, right? And when you say another framework, there's very rare, and which is Kanban. We'll talk about why the Kanban and these differences. And the other popular one is the Scaled Agile Framework. This is most popular nowadays because of the organizations, different organizations at enterprise level, different size of enterprises connect each other, work together in a single wavelength and single pace. That is why Scaled Agile Framework is getting more and more popular nowadays. Okay. Any questions here?
Yes, I have one question actually here.
Mhm.
You mean to say Agile? What is the Agile? Agile is it Scrum, Kanban?
No,
Which one is that?
that's exactly what I will explain in the next time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other? All right, moving ahead. So you
At least in the previous slide, when you say lightweight versus fuller,
yeah.
I mean, what approach means what approach? What is the
No,
approach you're talking about?
approach remains same, but
Is it
you
like a project
working as a
management approach you're talking about?
no, the delivery approach.
The delivery approach. Okay.
The delivery approach, when you are delivering, you will be delivering as a one team, one Scrum team.
Okay, got it.
Okay, versus multiple Scrum teams working on a same product.
Okay, but they're all agile delivery methods. That's what
Yeah, they all are under dynamic delivery methods, which is like a iterative methodology.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Sir Radhikar, there is one question which we may have covered in the coming slides, but I'm just going one step ahead. Does waterfall come under agile? There's a question there.
That is a different methodology. That is exactly what we will be explaining in one of the slides. I'll give you the complete picture. Yep, we have these comparisons. Yes, we'll be talking about different methodologies. Okay. Okay, so now next thing is like a characteristics of Scrum Master. So all here, since we are talking about Scrum Master, and I'm sure everyone is interested in learning about Scrum Master. And before you step into this role as a Scrum Master, you need to know what kind of characteristics that you need to be a successful Scrum Master. It's very easy. Don't go too deep into this. It's like it's explained too much, but when it comes to details, it's very easy, very simple, and anybody who is a successful parent, which we all are, is very easy to adopt this skill. Okay, we'll talk about the parental skills when we are learning, and very simple life examples to understand how do you act in this role as a Scrum Master is better for us to better understand. But anyway, the basic characteristics that you need is any of these. There are 3 different skills that you need to know to be a Scrum Master: the behavioral, contextual, and technical. So you don't need to be too deep into technical, but there are certain aspects that you will be talking about as a leader, as a servant leader, that you need to understand what development team is talking about. Otherwise, it's easy for them to fool you around. Right? So some level of technicality also need to be, and there's a never-ending learning skill. So very high level in the behavioral side, whatever that you see on the left is like you need to be empathized, you need to be creative, you need to be efficient, you need to be a leader, you need to build the trust. Right? These are the core skills, and have some ethics, and have growth mindset. These are the behavioral skills. And contextual, you need to have leading change or servant leadership and teaching, coaching, mentoring. These all are like your contextual. And technical, it is not like you're developing an iPhone application or like SAP application or Salesforce application. You really don't need to know too deep into the technology, and it is recommended not to know too deep into the technology. And having a complete technical knowledge is minus. It doesn't give you any advantage. So which is very good, and we are safe here. Right? The technicality that we are talking about here is you need to understand the methodology better. You need to understand the values and principles. You need to understand the lean thinking. You need to understand the systems thinking. Systems thinking is like generally when it comes to the organization, when we are talking about the bigger organizations, we will be put into a small project, and within that small project, we will be working a small piece of the small part of the application. Let's take Bank of America as an example. We are working on a Bank of America debit card processing system, and that itself is a huge system. You need to have the new customer registration to the payment processing, the end-to-end process. Out of that, you may be working in a small portion of ACH payments, right? So what systems thinking does is you need to understand how the entire business operates. If you know that, it will be easy for you to deliver the small portion of the piece that you are working on. So that is what the systems thinking or design thinking that you need to have. And you need to have like the lean process, lean thinking. Lean thinking is something like, hey, we are working A, B, C tasks, and A task is yielding better results, B task is not yielding better results. Why really we need to have a B task? So eliminate that B. Just like our phones, right? When we buy phone, we all buy iPhone. iPhone has like thousands of capabilities. Out of thousands of capabilities, how many capabilities that we are really using? Red button, green button, and browsing, camera, calculator, right? These are the main used capabilities, right? So whenever we are buying a phone or anything, that you need to decide like what is really useful and what is not useful. And process, if you have that lean thinking mindset, you will be a successful Scrum Master. Okay, so we'll talk about more detailed in our upcoming sessions. So far we learn about Scrum Master, Agile, and what are the characteristics. So before I get
Can you
into,
please go into that sheet again?
yeah,
Yeah, this is a super cheat sheet for your interview, because once you sprinkle all these words, you should know what all these words mean to you, to the organization, to everyone. And then once you know all this, you can keep sprinkling these words, and then here the interviewer will be really impressed thinking that you know everything about what Scrum is all about. So I think this one is a very important sheet that you all need to understand what each letter means, and then you please make a note of this one.
I have a question. How do you relate this to a chemistry periodic table?
I will come back to picture.
Sorry?
Maybe when you are doing
Side talk. All
Yeah,
right.
did you hear
Rao
my
garu, I'm
question?
not sure, Andy. Chemistry and this comparison.
I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, uh, you know, this sounds like in between HR and maybe business analyst. I mean, is there any difference between it? Because
Business
you're saying
analyst,
about,
HR.
I mean, I'm confused actually.
Okay.
Is it like anything related to business analyst or HR
No,
kind
no,
of a
No,
thing?
I mean,
Because
it is all like,
because you're speaking about a team, because
uh-huh.
you're speaking about a team, different
Yep.
people to handle. I mean,
Mhm.
they do also the same because they work
I
with
understand your
different.
question. Let us hold off. Yes, we will be covering all of that
Oh,
in our upcoming slides.
okay, sure.
Okay. Got it. And how do you work with the different roles and responsibilities? Yes, we have an explanation for that. Any other questions on this one? No. All right. With the time interest, I'm moving ahead. So why do we need Agile, and why do we really need Agile process, Agile methodology? So before I come to this, we'll talk about different methodologies, and then we'll come back to here. Okay. So we've been talking about methodologies a lot. So what are the different methodologies? What is the use of this methodology, and how is it advantage for us? So think in this way. I'll give you one simple example. So you take an example of everybody knows the development of or constructing an apartment. Okay. So what do we do? Construction of an apartment. I'm talking about back in India, how do we use? So you will be building an apartment. You will find a place and you design a blueprint of that apartment and then started construction. And generally the average construction takes 1 year of time. The size of the apartment is like 5 floors, 4 units every floor. This is the standard, right? Very generic. So this is 4 floors, 5 floors, 4 portions. This is a 20 flats apartment, which is a common in India. So take an example of this you're developing. This is the project that you're working on, right? So who will be working on it? Actually, the employees who build this is either masons or the carpenters or the electricians or the plumbers, right? They are the one who work to make this apartment constructed, and there's a sales team who will be selling it and the consumers who will be using it. So in the same example, what exactly these methodologies that you use is like you will be building end to end. It's a life cycle of an apartment. Let us say using waterfall methodology, the phases, it's a phase-wise delivery. You will be designing, you will first choose the land that you wanted to build. And once you choose the land, you will design it, how your apartment look like, how the output look like, and what kind of material that you will be using, how the walls are, where do you put the pillars and all. These all are like a designing phase. And once you design that, and you will give it to the mason and they will start constructing it. And once they construct, somebody will go and test it to make sure that everything is aligned and you have a right amount of electrical switchboards, right amount of sockets, and water is flowing through. There is no problem with the water or plumbing or any of these, right? The standard testing. And then you will give that apartment to the customer. And customer started using it, right? This is the standard phase. So how does these methodologies help us? Think in this way. If you're developing through the waterfall methodology, the construction of this apartment take 1 year or 1.5 years. So you as a customer, or we as a customers, when we buy this apartment 1 year back, what is the realization phase that realization of like utilization phase that we get of that apartment? 1 year later, you pay for this product today and you will be utilizing it after 1 year. So all this 1 year is totally waste of your money or waste of time. You're not happy as a customer because you're already losing value of 1 year. Think in the same way, you are developing that apartment. Let us say you build the first floor. You build the second floor, first floor and deliver. Second floor and deliver. Third floor and deliver. Fourth floor and deliver. Let us say each of these will take 2 to 3 months. You as a customer feel really happy, whoever is purchased first or whoever is paid for it first, your realization time is only 2 to 3 months. They're still constructing on the top. There may be a little bit of disturbance, there may be a little bit of change, but you still have value realization early. That is called as an iterative or incremental method, right? And let us say I'll go beyond this and I construct one flat, second, third, fourth, right? Every 15 days or 20 days that you're delivering, which is continuous delivery model, or CI, which is CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery model. So if you understand here, it's very simple and very easily explained is you are building the same kind of apartment or same kind of project in a different ways. So you as a Scrum Master here, you don't work as a contractor or constructor or a plumber or electrician. You have different people who will be doing it. What this process do is make sure your delivery, the platform of the delivery is people are following the standard practices to make sure the output is delivering fast or delivering with quality, right? Sometimes fast will create problems because of you will be losing the quality. But here the quality, inbuilt quality is mandatory and quality delivery is mandatory. That is important. Okay, so that's why you have different methodologies and use these methodologies to deliver, and you will be constructing and realizing the value little ahead. Everybody is clear?
What is DevOps here?
DevOps is a continuous delivery. So you will be developing, take this as a software application. So in waterfall methodology, the project takes 1 year to deliver, minimum 1 year, or like anywhere from 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, or 1.5 years. So when you deliver project very end, you will be losing the edge of the realization phase, right? The value, or your competitor may grab that opportunity before you deliver and they may take over your business. And Agile is you will be delivering small portions of the application. And here in DevOps, you will be delivering continuously every day. If you take Amazon as an example, Amazon is doing almost like 160,000 deployments every day into their, what do you say, they have 25 some thousands of application servers across the US, across the globe, right? So many deployments every day. New technology, new functionality is delivered to the customer on a regular basis. Even Google is one of that.
And Agile ki DevOps ki difference ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు Agile కూడా continuous delivery నే కదా?
Yeah, Agile got continuous delivery, but Agile you have 15 days or 2 weeks of a time period. You're delivering every 2 weeks. So here in waterfall, your process takes 1 year, and Agile anywhere from 1 week to 4 weeks, and DevOps every day and multiple times a day. So your release intervals will be much more faster and much more smaller. right? Here, what we call in the waterfall methodology is a phase-wise approach. What we call it as a big bang delivery model. In Agile, it's an incremental.
But the question is, between Agile and DevOps, you cannot fit in what the same. If you take the same analogy, right? Building a apartment complex. How does it apply to DevOps, but daily delivery?
Yeah, it's a smaller portion of your in Agile methodology. What you delivered is a one level of the floor.
Yes.
Right here in the DevOps methodology, what you're delivering is each flat. Right, your realization is much more faster. Your delivery is smaller, but time is also smaller. Very
So
limited time. You're delivering more and more functionalities.
Okay, example చెప్పారండి అది it doesn't mean that DevOps లో apartment build చేసేయగలం.
Oh yeah. It's like
No, I
compare that with
understand.
the
So
software
basically,
product.
We have to look into the project and see is it something you can divide into chunk size. You can chunk it to the bite size, right? So is it possible or not? First, we need to analyze that project.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a compare that as a functionality. And let us say you're developing, taking as an example of Bank of America, you'd here you say like you're developing a customer portal for the easy access of your application, right? Your bank application. So what you do is like bank application consists of your login functionality, registration functionality, your bank transaction and bank transfer, amount transfer, receiving. These all are different functionalities, right?
Yes.
So in waterfall methodology, you will be delivering all this functionality in one go.
Yes.
Okay. In Agile methodology, let us take you take an example of like the registration functionality. You deliver first registration functionality. The customer will go and register it, utilize the registration. So they are already stepped into the banking account, online banking, and they can see the transactions, at least high level. But the next sprint, you will be delivering the transaction or like a check processing, right? That is an add-on functionality. You will be delivering that. The next, right after that, you will be delivering like a check receiving or like a ACH payments, right? So these all are simple. You're reducing the size of delivery and increasing the time of delivery, right?
Yeah.
That way you get the value. And here in DevOps, you don't have to wait until the entire registration process, registration process developed. You have some screens that are designed, dump that screens into inside, but you may or may not be utilizing the full functionality there, but you already deployed the code of it, right? And then you build the associated functionality on the backend portion, and combining that front end and back end only, then you will be utilizing. But your deployment time is reduced from 2 weeks to 1 week. I mean, every day. The small user story that you develop, deploy it. Another user story that you develop, deploy it. That's what the DevOps.
Is it like beta versions?
No, we don't call it as betas anymore. Beta is you are developing an X amount of functionality and then deploying it into the functionality for customer use to see whether you get the proper ROI or not. But here we are not measuring the ROI. The same beta concept called it here as a minimum viable product, MVP.
Okay, in the DevOps, you use the term MVP, minimum viable product?
Yes. In both Agile and DevOps, you will be using MVP.
Yeah, I guess, that analysis is really technical in nature, right? So somebody who is technical has to come up with these strategies.
Yes.
Prior to deploying this kind of methodology.
Oh, it is not like one person who decide in these releases. And in DevOps, if we go deep into, there are 7 different type of deployments. They are called as a dark deployment, canary deployment, or like full deployments. So you will be deploying every day, but the portion of the deployment, you don't use it, which is a dark deployment. You have the code in ready, but you're not enabled that functionality into the customer use in the production, but the code is already there. or that
Okay.
you already deployed and you're using it?
We'll have
Okay.
a talk on this again.
Yeah, we'll
Can
talk
we?
more
Yeah.
with the time interest. We only
Yeah,
have 15
no
minutes.
problem. Yeah, but this
All
is
right.
this is interesting actually. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, Andy. We'll go too deep into all of these topics as we go along.
I got a question. What's your name? DV means like what's your name?
DV.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
sorry.
person was
Actually,
asking questions.
I'm sorry. My name is Durga Prasad Wadi.
Yeah, can you guys do your full names? Actually, that'll be easy. Who is asking questions? We can.
I'm sorry. Actually, I logged in from my phone. That's
Sure.
the reason why I think the Zoom has standard name. I think default name. I guess next time probably when I log in from my laptop, I
Sure.
can try that. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Adi
All right.
garu, sorry to interrupt అండి. Actually, Agile waterfall difference చెప్పారు కదా. So దానిలో which is more nowadays everyone is moving to the Agile methodology, right, instead of waterfall. So if suddenly user change the mind, waterfall is a 1 year project, right? We need to take all these in between. If user change the mind and if they want any different approach or any
It is not
changes.
like one person. Sorry for interruption with the time interest. It is not like one person who decided. It's entire organization need to define the shift, and it's a huge transformation. It is not overnight that you can make a decision that you wanted to switch from waterfall to agile. It will take at least a year or more than that to transform from one methodology to another methodology.
Right, Andy. But in case, like for example, if one of the company is following waterfall methodology, and like then different, like if they wanted to change to the
Yeah,
agile,
it depends upon the scenario, and we cannot give you a blanket answer for that. It all depends upon the scenario. They might feel, yeah, we can change our methodology and let's go into this. And I've seen a few companies doing it. Definitely, yes. It's a yes answer for you. Definitely, we can. They can change it in between. There's no problem. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule that they should not. Sir, ఒక్కసారి can you please go into that this one again?
మీరు బిల్డింగ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ తీసుకున్నారు కదా, దానిలో ఏంటంటే 1 year వెయిట్ చేయాలి క్లయింట్. But if they wanted to change any design inside their interior or anything, they can change it, right, in between.
No,
until
waterfall methodology, it is very difficult. The phase-wise model, the reason that you build phase-wise model is, let us take the same construction example. Once you lay the pillar, it is very difficult for you to cut down that pillar after, let us say, 9 months that you realize that, oh, pillar should not be there. If you demolish that pillar, the entire building will collapse, right? Or the quality of the building will be challenged.
Not about the pillar, main ingredients and so inside, like whoever is the coming to each and every flat, inside that they can change it, right?
I mean, some cases this analogy may not 100% work. When it comes to software, it is not that easy for you to make a decision to shift your way of working.
There is a change control process later after development that has to follow to the design changes.
Yeah, Adi garu, I think let us not go deeper into the examples what you have told, but generally,
let us not learn everything today itself. This is just to give you overview of like why you want to step into Scrum Master. There are a lot more topics to talk about, like what is the job market and how is this job market, what makes you to decide whether you want to go with a Scrum Master or not. There are topics that we need to look into. Let us keep this as a very high level. What is Scrum Master, and do we really need to get into that Scrum Master role or not? In depth of the discussion,
another 15 seconds or so, because this topic has come up. I think everybody is aware of that Taj Hotel in Bombay, which was, I mean, terrorist attacks అయింది కదండి. That particular one actually is supposed to have been that person who designed that entire hotel. He went to the topmost floor after completion and he committed suicide. ఎందుకంటే వాడు పాపం ఒక డిజైన్ చేసి ఇచ్చేసి ఇలా కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేయండి రా అని చెప్పేసి వాడు వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. ఐ మీన్ రిమెంబర్ ఇట్ ఇస్ 110-120 years హోటల్. వాడు ఆ టైంలో కమ్యూనికేషన్ కానీ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ కానీ ఏం లేదు. వాడు హీ హ్యాస్ టు కమ్ ఆల్ ద వే ఇన్ షిప్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దాట్. సో వై ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ ఆల్ దిస్ ఇస్ వాడు వచ్చే లోపల వాడు ఇచ్చిన డిజైన్ వాడు ఎంటైర్ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్ అనమాట. వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ వాజ్ లైక్ దే బిల్ట్ ఇట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ 180 degrees అగేన్స్ట్ వాట్ హీ వాంటెడ్ ఇట్ కన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్. వాడు వెళ్ళి అంత మంచి హోటల్ చాలా మంచి ఇదిగా ఉంది బాగుంది కానీ నేను చెప్పినట్టు చేయలేదు వీళ్ళు అని చెప్పేసి వాడు మనస్తాపానికి గురై చచ్చిపోయాడు. So that should have been avoided if they are saying, okay, after 1 or 2 weeks they had a look at it. Oh, ఇలా కాదు కదా నేను చెప్పింది ఇలా అయితే బాగుండేది కదా అని చెప్పేసి అంటే అప్పుడు they could have changed it. All they would have lost is just 2 weeks of their time or 4 weeks of their time. They would have started it again and everything would have been back in action. Okay, sir, మీరు continue చేయండి. I think we are going on.
Yeah, just one question that's very interesting. I don't think it's a waste of time here. It's a great use of this time, actually, this kind of discussions. So in this DevOps, basically, to your point, when you say a nugget size is delivered in the DevOps methodology, delivery in the sense that does it involve complete testing of that piece of code, even though it's not being used by the end user?
Everything, and when you look at like these are the process steps, that is the next topic that we'll be talking about. The process steps include design, code, test, deployment. All these process steps will be covered in every iteration. It is not that you develop and without testing that you put into production. It's a very heavy risky.
Okay.
If you look at the color
that's
code
really
here,
useful. Yeah,
yes.
Whoever mentioned that, that's really useful.
Yeah,
Because
that is
then
why
we
we
can-
call
we
it
can
as
do-
iteration.
Yeah, okay. Then we can identify the issues ahead of early in the stage, and we can take a corrective action, right? That's really useful. Okay. All right.
So
Thank you.
hold of these questions, and this is like we are going too deep into these methodologies, and we'll be definitely talking about all of these, and all these questions will be addressed when we go to the subject. Okay, here our objective is to understand like whether we are really good to get into the Agile and Scrum Master. Okay, let us focus that objective and why do we need to get into this. Okay, with the time I don't want to skip any of these. Every slide is important, so that's why. Okay, all right. So how rapidly and why are we really going into this change is because industry is rapidly changing. If you look at like all of sudden, take Tata as an example. Tata, Birla, all of these organizations, they it took almost like 50 years or at least 2 generations to build such a huge enterprise. Whereas compared to Apple, it hardly took 10 years to build more value than the Tata or Birla or like any other organizations at that size at that time. Whereas if you look at ChatGPT, and ChatGPT became, and it will be one of, or not the ChatGPT, just like Tesla. Take Tesla as an example. Tesla is hardly took 3 years to capture the market, and person become a billionaire, topmost billionaire, in less than 3 years. And how is this all happening? Is because the need of the customer or need of the user is rapidly changing, and the industry is also dynamically changing, and these methodologies are help you to adopt this change process within this short period of time. Unless you adopt the change, you cannot be competitive and you cannot stay in the market. Okay, so that is one of the reason. If you look at like these are the examples, the one that you're seeing it on the left is called as a 5 MB hard disk drive that is carried from one data center to another data center. The organization called IBM spent more than $1 million to move their data center from one location to another location. And this is 5 MB. If you take one picture nowadays from your phone, there is more than 5 MB of space. And this is like a 1956 to 2024. The technology evolved and technology changed drastically such a way that you carry hundreds of thousands of photos within this memory card. This is hardly 1 inch or less than an inch size. So this is one example, and this is the technology advancement is another example, which is like this is a laptop. I mean, sorry, this is the desktop personal computer 1981, and this is a Apple desktop, which is the most latest technology in current market. Right? How many years? That is around 2020. So within 40 years, technology advanced like this. And this is the first laptop, and this is the current laptop, which is Surface. Okay, which is 1975 to current year. So this is rapidly growing. How technology is growing. I have a short video to play. So let me play. This is less than 2 minutes. This will help you understand like how advanced we are and how technology is evolving. Let me play this. Can you all hear that
ఫస్ట్
sound?
ల్యాప్టాప్ వచ్చిందండి.
Huh?
మాయాబజార్లో ఫస్ట్ ల్యాప్టాప్ వచ్చింది.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, can you all hear that sound? Can you all hear that?
No, sir.
No.
No? This is exactly what. Oh, share sound. All right. Hope you can. This is AI. Okay, so this is a short snippet of how technology is evolving. If you look at like old days, the way that we operate, or like take banking as an example, the same example that we are using. So when we go to bank, we used to have a checkbook. We used to have like what do you say, the bank book where they put those transactions, and we have to wait in a queue. If you are from FBI, if you go to FBI, half of your day that you waste to deposit just one check, right? This is all manual process. Whereas nowadays, I'm not sure how many of you ever stepped into bank recently, right? That's how technology is advanced. The moment that you wake up, just make a transaction with Paytm or PhonePe or like where Venmo. These all are helpful to just do the same transaction that we were doing 4 hours or 3 to 4 hours time in fraction of seconds. The same transaction. That's the advancement. So entire industry is evolving. And what is the reason, and what is the good or bad of that technology evolution? And why do you need to have this change mindset and adopt this change mindset? The reason is, if you look at like organizations like Yahoo, how many of you heard about Blackbuster, right? Or like Nokia phone? These all are classic examples of the organizations who did not adopt the change in the modern technology or modern way of business operations, these all are market giants, global market giants. Once upon a time, global market giants, they literally disappear, right? Blockbuster, I'm sure the new generation, they might not even heard about it. The Blockbuster is, they used to send 2 DVDs every day. Once you
Blackberry.
send the, huh?
I mean, it is BlackBerry.
Yeah.
No, Blockbuster is CDs. Yeah, BlackBerry is another good example, phone.
Is that a movie rental?
Yeah,
No,
movie rental.
Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. Yep. Right. Blockbuster is a movie rental, and that is taken over by Netflix. So people doesn't have patience enough to wait for such a long time for anything, and they want everything instant. So Blockbuster did not adopt the change of this advancement, and they disappear. Literally, there's no company called Blockbuster anymore. Right? Nokia, take Nokia as an example. Nokia was one of the giant global market, 80% of market share owned by Nokia in the phone, mobile phones. And how many people know Nokia right now? 0.001% of market share. 80% of global market to 0.0001% of market share is a huge difference. The enterprise collapsed just because of not adopting the change. Okay, so technology advancement causes a lot of, it brings a lot of good and it creates a lot of damage for organizations. Though that is why organizations want to have a methodology process that inbuilt to adopt the change. If they can adopt the change easily, then they can deliver faster and quality of the product. So we're talking about process and all. So what is this process? Why do we need this process? And what exactly you as a Scrum Master help you to develop the process? I have very simple examples, life examples to give you. So any product or any project generally deliver that will have a start and end, which let us say you wanted to develop a mobile application, mobile app. Right? What do you first do? The mobile app. You want to start, the first you will formulate the idea, what exactly that you wanted to develop. And then once you develop, you will make sure that, not the development, you will make sure whether you have, you spend X amount of dollars on that to build that application. In return, you need to gain some benefits for developing, either direct value or indirect value to it, and that is called as you do ROI process, return of investment process. Hey, I'll be developing this application in this type of application. I'm expecting this much of revenue out of it. So once you decide, then you start developing and then you deliver to the customer. Once you deliver to the customer, are we end of the life? No. You start the product again to enhance the product, to customize the product, rebuild the product, or upgrade the product, migrate the product. There are so many different styles, which is called as a cycle. That is exactly the cycle that you call it here as a software development life cycle in real world. What is software development life cycle means? You will be identify the requirement, design, implementation, testing, evaluation, all of these different phases. And then once you deploy it, that will go to the new development process. Okay. So what exactly is this? Excuse me, one second.
So I'll chime in here before Adigar comes. I think everybody is here. My only humble request is please take up the membership of Atmiya. And I think this is going to be restricted only for members of Atmiya for further coaching or training starting from Monday. My humble request, please all take Atmiya membership. If you can, Vasvi garu, please post. I think she's already posted. Yeah, I think you can
Thank
go into that website and then become a member of Atmiya. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you,
sorry,
Madhavan.
Adhikar.
Advertisement in between movie. Right. Okay. All right. So this is a cycle of the product development that we are talking about. So it's the same cycle that we are talking about in the human life cycle also. Right? What is human life cycle? Everybody will be born as a child, adult, or like a middle age, old age, and decays. Right? That is the cycle, and we believe in reincarnation. Right? You will be reborn and go through the same cycle and die. Right? So this is what you call is a life cycle. The similar life cycle of software, what you call it as like a requirement phase, design phase, implement phase, testing phase, evaluation phase. And then you will develop the new requirement for the enhancement to compete the market. So this is the cycle of any software. So now what exactly that you do as a human being in life is everybody born, but they have different practices. What is the practice? You will be following one of the major religion, and there are hundreds of thousands of religions, right? You call it as Hinduism, Muslim, Christian, Buddhism, Jainism. These all are practices. What is the use of this practice is you follow certain standards to live a happy life, healthy life, or quality life for the rest of your life, and then regeneration, you may be taking another practice. Same like any software development, they also go through the same life cycle. So what is the difference here is like the way that life cycle, human life cycle that we talk about religions, here also in software development life cycle, you have different religions. What those different religions that you call it as a methodologies. That's exactly the waterfall methodology, agile methodology, development methodology. So coming back to the same methodologies, what do we do is you will be practicing, and let us go little a step down in Hinduism. If you take Hinduism, we have so many different subsects, right? Casteism. Within Kapu, Kamma, Brahmin, Reddy. So even within the Hinduism, you have different practices, right? The practice is it's almost influenced by the same, but slightly different. That is exactly what you do here in these different frameworks. What you call this Agile methodology have smaller frameworks. And majority of the frameworks are influenced by this iteration or change adoption method process, but slightly different in different ways. That is, we will be talking in depth when we go into these different topics. We'll be talking about Scrum, we'll be talking about Scaled Agile Framework, we'll be talking about Kanban, maybe slightly Nexus. Okay, so this is what we'll be talking about in our real class, but you understand this, right? Those are the differences. So
Yeah, just a disclaimer, Andy, when you're talking in interviews, please do not bring religion or anything.
Religion is just for your
It's just for
understanding
understanding.
purpose.
Yeah.
There's a simple understanding, Andy. We'll not be talking about anymore, but this is just to make you understand. Okay, so now we are talking about within this software development life cycle, majority of us know different roles. Like you have coding, which is a developer, right? Web developer, SAP functional consultant, Salesforce, Salesforce.com
Sir,
consultant,
are you sharing
database
any
administrator.
screen, Andy? We are not able to see anything.
Am I not sharing?
Yes, you are not.
No, we can see.
లేదండి భాను గారు కనిపిస్తుందండి
We can
స్క్రీన్.
see Andy.
Yeah.
Oh, seriously? Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I did not stop sharing. That's confusion. All right. So there are different roles, and each role, it's like you will be a developer, you will be a tester, you will be particularly for deployment, you will be a network engineer, DevOps, DevSecOps, or SecOps, or maintenance, production support, business analyst, technical analyst, functional analyst, a product owner, and web designer, UI developer. See, these are different roles who will be working within SDLC process of particular. Each phase will have different type of developers. So where is Scrum Master here? Scrum Master is the one who integrate all of these roles together into one. That is what you call it as a platform. This is what he will make sure each of this process is thoroughly followed. Each of these member of this role is following their standard practices and delivering the quality work without missing any of these steps. Just like the human life cycle, it's like you have different phases of human life cycle, right? At first, when new baby is born, baby shower, there is a standard practice that you follow, and once there is another one, so another step is followed. So these all are that you will be following all these steps. And once so each phase that you will be following, make sure you are following the standard steps at a time without missing any of this quality. So that is the ultimate. Any questions in here?
I think a quick question. Is Scrum Master's role is to make sure that all these pieces are falling in place and are
connected? Yes, are in sync.
His focus is on the time, like
no, not the time, and it's all these steps are properly. Okay. All these steps are properly followed.
I see.
Okay.
See, here is the disconnect. What I noticed is most of the time, Scrum Masters being non-technical, they have to depend on the faith. Okay, so that was one of the reasons why the methodology has failed and in many times in the organizations. That's what I noticed. Is there any remedies for that? Scrum Masters follow to make sure the authenticity of the feedback they receive from the developers or the testers?
Yes, and every step there is a practices. That is what we will be learning in depth of the topics when we go deep into the subject.
Okay.
What do you do? How do you do? How do you fix if they are going in the wrong direction? Right? How do you coach them if they are not going in the right direction? How do you encourage them if they are going in the right direction? All of these steps.
కొంచెం ఫన్నీ వేలో చెప్పాలంటే కర్రీలో ఉప్పు లాంటి స్క్రమ్ మాస్టర్ వాడు ఉన్నంతసేపు ఎవరు పట్టించుకోరు కానీ లేకపోతే అందరూ ఏమైందని అడుగుతారు. అది.
Yep. All right. So next thing is about like you being a scrum master. There are some certain expectations from employers, right? So one of the core skill, since this is an IT role, people think that computer is one of the key skill. But if you look at the statistics, computer is not the core skill. That's the 9th step. But the communication is one of the core skill that you need to have. So why do you need to have this communication is, and why communication is important is you take this as an example. Every day as a Scrum Master, you will be working on emails, talking to people as an interview, or chatting with people, or researching on the new topics to make sure your team is running smooth. You will spend almost like 40% of your time into the communication channel. The communication consists of like all of these. Let us take only emails that you will be responding to email, talking to people, asking, sending them emails. That itself is 134 minutes every day. So if you are 8 hours working and if your salary is 100,000 per annum, 2.5 minutes, 2.5 hours is 28% of your day's time or year time. So straightforward 28,000 is paid just for the communication, you being a Scrum Master or a business analyst. So communication is very, very important. Openness is very important, and courageousness is very important, and not only for you and your team members. So now half of you may be thinking like, oh, I don't have good communication skills. Do I really survive in this or not? Right? That is the thought process. Now, that is what everybody thinks, right? Yes, that is true. We from the rural background may not have good communication skills. Even me, I don't have good communication skills even now. So when you are working as a Scrum Master, you will be working at an organization level, product level, development team level. So you will be the common center point of contact. So how do you manage? Right? Think in this way. Scrum Master communication doesn't mean that it's language. So there are two different things. Language is different and communication is different. So when you talk to, or if you have a pet, when you throw a ball, think as a dog, when you throw a ball and ask the dog to bring it back, no matter which language that you use, whether it's a Telugu, whether it's English, it's a Hindi or any other language that you use, it will bring it back. What does it mean? They don't look into the language. Ultimately, what you wanted to get out of it is a communication. So don't get confused with the language with the communication. That is very important. None of us, or I mean, at least for my side, I'm talking about, we don't have good communication skills. I mean, we don't have good language skills, but we still can survive. I don't think in this generation we are having any problem of communication. People coming out of good schools, English medium is primary now. I don't think any of the team members here will have or may have communication problem or language problem also. If you have language, good language, there is a high chances of you survive or level up or step up on the ladder is higher. Communication with language is the key, but not just language will bring you the job. Okay, think Chinese as an example. They don't have English, but Chinese occupied majority of the IT industry too. Or Spanish. Nowadays, Brazil teams or European teams are working who are non-English. They all are doing it extremely good. Okay, so don't underestimate your power of even you don't have good language. So you still can be a Scrum Master as long as you understand what you are doing. Okay. Hope enough of the time spending on that language. So next, what is customer needed? So basically, most of the times in software development, this is one thing that you all know. When customer wanted to say like, hey, I want to develop this application in such a way, and they give you the requirement versus the time that you deliver the requirement is completely different because so many people, so many layers involved in here, and the understanding gap is another major thing. This is what the customer's problem nowadays, this has been the problem, this will be the problem forever. So let us say in the first example, in the first image here, customer want this. But when he explain it to the business user, business analyst, or somebody who is at the next level who create the requirement, he understand in this shape. And when he explain it to the next one, he understand in this shape, and he develop in this shape. In between, the sales people will sell that they're delivering much more better than what they wanted. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you did not even deliver the quality product. In between, the time budget goes higher and higher. Again, you need to pump more money to continue the product. This is a common customer problem nowadays. So if you have this, what exactly it means is like, if you look at here, customer want the elephant. When they want to explain what customer want, he give you requirement to say, that needs to have a trunk, 4 legs, carry both, should carry load and passengers. Black in color, should have heaviest behavior, which is a good behavior. But ultimately, when they give the requirement, people understand that in different way, and he delivered this. See, in here, every single requirement is met, but customer doesn't want that. Right? He means completely different thing. And this is a common IT problem. Because of this problem, if you look at Miller Course versus HCL, there is a multi-million dollar, it's almost like $100 million case, legal battle. And there are hundreds of legal battles like this. This is just one example out of it. This is very recent happened. So because of not having the clarity of the requirement, each company filed a lawsuit against to each other. So requirement is very, very important. Quality of the clarity of the requirement bring the quality of the product. Okay, so this is very common challenge. I'll ping you the link since we don't have much time and we don't want to go through that, but I'll give you the link. You can understand better what it means. So because of all of these, ultimately you end up of getting into a blame game. People blame each other. Ultimately, nobody wants fighting. Either customer, either the support service, support company, or the employee or employer, any of those, that nobody want problems. Everybody want their stake, right? It's like we as an employee working, all we need to care about salary and growth. Employer, they only care about the quality product and the revenue, best revenue or value out of it, right? So, but in this case, what will happen is like you expect something and you deliver completely different. Ultimately, you end up of firing 1 or 2 jobs and say like you justify that. And next again, your cycle start and you end up of doing the same mistakes. That is the problem with waterfall methodology. So the solution for this is Agile has a fix for that. As long as everybody work together as a single team, everybody understand what they want, then other people can deliver what people want. So very detailed, we'll talk about like acceptance criteria and everything in detail when we go deep into the topics. Okay, so we'll be talking about Agile, why Agile is more successful compared to other methodologies. This is the example to say like Agile, 42% of the organizations claim that their products are delivered successfully. Whereas waterfall methodology only delivered 13% of the organizations, they say like, yes, they delivered successfully. Whereas failure rate, 28% of people claim that they in waterfall methodology, their failure. So that's straightforward. 128 projects out of 100 is a big number in the market. Whereas even still in Agile also there is a failure rate, but the failure rate is very minimal. No matter which practice, this is again going back to the religion example, no matter which religion that you practice as a human, there is a possibility of success and failure. It is not that the religion that itself is a matter. People who are practicing that religion or people who are practicing that methodology, understanding that real usage or real value of the methodology, if you don't follow the standard steps, then no matter which religion, which methodology that you follow, still there is a failure. Okay.
And external factors.
External factors also, yes. There's so many reasons. But some cases, it's very hard for them to define to say like whether they are successful or not. Just like our life, right? We all came from different education backgrounds. And do we really utilizing core of our education skills, or whether our life is really successful or not, right? The amount of time that we spend versus the amount of, so that is always confused. So majority of the organizations will also be on the same stage to measure whether the product is successful or successfully delivered or not. So this is the majority stake, but failure is one thing that calculates. So this is one of the reason majority of the organizations are heading towards the Agile way of working methodology. Okay, so out of Agile, we talked about so many different frameworks, right? 58% of organizations are following Scrum. Only 10% of organizations are following Scrumban. And some of these organizations like Scrum and hybrid methodology, what hybrid they talk about is like they all have waterfall influenced Agile methodology. So that is called as a hybrid model. In short term, in a layman term, to say like it's a khichdi process, right? So this is one of the reasons wherever that you say like you have Scrum Master job, you can close your eyes and think that it's majority of the cases it's a Scrum. And even if you know Scrum, any other frameworks within this, like you call it as a Scrumban, you call it hybrid, you call it Kanban, any of these XP, Lean, any of these are easy to understand. Okay. So this is why we will be covering our training sessions on the Scrum. Okay. So the topics we cover in the training is, we'll be talking about Scrum overview, Agile values and principles, Scrum framework, roles and responsibilities, and planning, how there are different ceremonies and how to create user stories and what are the characteristics that you need to look into to prepare user stories. It's not that you will be preparing, it's like whoever is preparing. And definition of done, velocity calculation, estimation techniques. So these all are topics that we will be covering, along with the tools wise is very limited tools. Jira is very popular in market. ADO, Azure DevOps, which is earlier called as a Team Foundation Server from Microsoft. That is another popular. And Confluence is a collaboration tool that they are using. And Point Poker Idea Board, we can claim it as a tools, but these are like 10-15 minutes tools that easy to understand. Okay, so just an alert here. Agile is a very, Scrum Master is a very dry subject. It is not that you will be learning any tool like Java or .NET or like SAP or SFDC. So this is more topic oriented. There isn't much that you will be practicing, but you need to study a lot to understand how industry is operating and what exactly they are expecting from Scrum Masters. Okay, if you look at tools, it's hardly 3 tools, and out of 3 tools, 2 of these tools can be learned within 5-10 minutes. So only Jira or Confluence is a little depth, and this is also to hardly 10% of your role as a Scrum Master, you will be spending time in these tools. Okay, so it's not tool based, it is more topic based. It's a very dry subject. So you need to pay more attention to understand the scenarios that we will be talking about in our classes. Coming back to the agreement. So if you want to continue the classes in upcoming classes, so every day from Sunday to Thursday, we will have 1.5 hour of class, strictly time boxed. And that is the time that we will be talking about the topics. And if you are aspirant of a Scrum Master job, you need to study at least 2 to 3 hours every day. Okay. And we will be creating a separate WhatsApp group to talk about those topics, whatever the topic that we talk about on that session. And you will be either, there very light chance that you will have a homework, but the topic needs to be have further discussion for further understanding. So you will be posting the discussion in only strictly to that related to that group, and we will be learning from each other. Okay, and questions to be posted in the same WhatsApp group in the open form, and these needs to be very interactive. As we already claimed, it's like the role is more interactive role, that you need to have more interactions during the sessions. I really like the today is like so many people asking so many questions because of the time I was not able to spend enough time to explain, but we have very detailed sessions going forward, even if it takes a little longer. I'm happy, but we will be leaving only when we understand the topic.
Yeah, Harikada, Ogukada, Borakada విన్నట్టు విని వెళ్ళిపోవటం కాదండి. Please interact yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, our ultimate goal is somebody from this team to say like, yes, we got a job just because of this session. And that is the help of our community, each other. That is our objective. So this is one part of our session. And the next one is about the certification. I'll go a little faster in this. You only have very limited time. So
Sir, before that, I have a few questions which are posed in this one, about 3 of them. I would like to just ask quickly. Is DevOps part of Scrum or competitor tool?
DevOps is part of Scrum. Yes, DevOps is also created based on the Scrum. So that is exactly what we will be looking into in a bit.
Second question is
DevOps here. If you look at the scaled Agile framework, one of the one of the framework that we are talking about. So DevOps and DevSecOps is internal part of it. The CI/CD, all these topics is inbuilt within the scaled Agile framework. When it comes to Scrum, this is the Scrum, whatever that we are talking about. Scrum is this one. The scaled Agile framework has the mix of integration between different frameworks, DevOps, Lean, and Agile or Scrum. So integration of all of those together into one topic is called as a Scaled Agile framework. This is what we will be highly looking into right after our topics of Scrum.
ఆ స్క్రమ్ చూడండి ఎంత బొడ్డదుందో చిన్నది.
Yeah, Scrum is only tiny part. Yes.
Yeah,
and what we are
another
looking
question.
here, what we are looking here is portfolio safe, but this is exactly what the Scrum, the real Scaled Agile framework is. It's much more bigger than what you think. Yes.
I have one question. So what is product owner training means?
As a product owner is the person who give you the requirements. It's earlier the role is called as a business analyst. Now the new role is created, and the only difference between business analyst and product owner is business analyst is from the IT, hired from the IT, and collect the requirements from the business users. So there is a lot of failure rate because of a person being IT and influencing from the people from the business. There's a big failure in the industry. That's why they created a role called product owner from the product side itself, business side itself. So now this is not a IT role. The product owner is a business role, business side of the role.
Okay,
and will
that
they
was
be
from, yeah.
And will they be reporting to the IT?
No, they will be
IT
reporting to the business.
Okay, they will be reporting to the business and gather the requirements, and they send the requirements to some IT resource for the development. Or what?
Yeah, ultimately they are the one who are responsible of creating those user stories. Okay, I really want to give you an example. The problem here is, I'm sorry, it will take little time, but it's an interesting question. So there are two sides of it, right? IT side and this is a business side, IT side. So you have developers, testers, everybody sitting here, business owners, business leaders, everybody sitting here. BA is the person who is IT side and sitting here, but he will be gathering requirements from the business users, and business users are the topmost or like leads of the business heads. So BA is low paid job, and he will be collecting requirements from the high paid job, and buying out the time from these people are very difficult.
Yes.
So, and there are a lot of complaints because people say like, oh, he's asking so many questions, he's asking same repetitive questions. Him not knowing the IT business, how can he create a requirement without him giving the clarity? Right? So there is a big failure on this. That is one of the reason, instead of the low level person influencing the people from the high level on the business side, they stopped this process and they created a new role called product owner. The topmost person of the department or departments together will be acting as a person of integrator between these two, called as a product owner or product manager, and he will be the liaising between IT and business.
Is product owner a high paying job or what?
It's a high paying job. And
Okay,
you need to
we'll
know the
move
more business knowledge rather than the IT knowledge.
Yes, sir. We'll move on, sir. I think, yeah. Next question is Scrum Master versus Automation Engineer, which
Completely
has
two different.
yeah, which has competitive career and pay. Bhuvana garu adugutunnaru. Yeah.
It's you're talking about two different things, and you cannot compare oranges versus apples. Every role is important in IT. You're talking about the what do you say? The technician versus the manager. So you want to grow in the technical side, hands-on coding and all. The tester or the developer is the right roles. If you want to manage the team, you want to be a leader, then management side of the aspects and Scrum Master is the right position for it. And both of them have a good pay, and pay rate is compete each other, is the same, almost the same grade. If you are SDET.
Yeah. Kalyan garki similar question undanడి. Are the pay scales competitive for Scrum careers? Also, what should be the current career and learning path for someone interested in getting into Scrum as a career? ఇప్పటిదాకా అదే కదా మాట్లాడుకున్నాం మనం.
Yes, yes.
So అది I think it is answered అండి. If there is any question, please anytime you can please call me. And one last question is Scrum seen as a data analyst too?
I mean, Scrum is a framework that every person need to know. Okay, process is something that every person need to know. It's irrespective of your pay grade and irrespective of your designation. Every developer, tester, BA, product owner, everybody need to follow the practice, which is a process, which is Agile. Okay, but you as a Scrum Master act as a gatekeeper of that process. Okay. So
Sure,
these are
sir. You can go ahead.
Yeah, everybody need to know the Agile practice irrespective of your designation. But you as a Scrum Master, you make sure gatekeeping activities of that role. Okay.
A small question under.
Uh-huh.
So does the Scrum Master role, I mean, like I seen other players playing the Scrum Master role, let's say like tech lead, they'll run the Scrum ceremonies and everything, and they get down to do their job. Is that the effective way of doing, or having a full-time Scrum Master on the team is the...
I'll give you a very silly example. Okay, anybody can raise a kid, right?
Yeah.
So even a father, even a mother, even an ayah, anybody can raise a kid. But who is more effective when raising the kid?
The parents, obviously.
Exactly.
Father.
No, I will say mother in majority aspects and father in some aspects, right? So the role of here as a parent can guide or more interactive if you are the Scrum Master, right? If you are non-Scrum Master owning the responsibility of a Scrum Master, that is not a good practice. It's not that something you cannot do, but the effectiveness is not that good. The output may not be that good. Okay.
ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇది కంటిన్యూ చేయండి, ఇంకా 2-3 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయి.
Yeah, we'll come back. I think job related, we have further slides. Okay, so apart from up to here, we will be giving 10 days of training, 2 weeks of training in Scrum, Agile, and role of a Scrum Master. We'll be talking in deep depth. So right after this, this is an addition, and we have a what do you say, discount-based Scrum Master certification program also. This is completely different. This is outside this, and we have 3 different roles and 3 different certifications we'll talk about. So Agile, basically there are Scrum is actually formed by 2 different people, which is called as a Ken Schwaber and Jeff Sutherland. Okay. So these 2 are the founders of the Agile, and each one of these are separated, and they started different organizations, and they started different certification programs. So basically, we one is that called as a Scrum Alliance, which is most popular, where you hear about CSM, Certified Scrum Master, and this is one journey path. And the other one is Scaled Agile, which we are talking about. In the Scaled Agile, if you look at, like, there are 3 certifications that we are talking about. The Safe Practitioner, which is entry level, which is called as a Safe for Teams. Another one is a Safe Scrum Master, which is a specific role, and Release Train Engineer, who is a advanced career role. So we can say this is every team member need to have this.
మీరు తప్పది రౌండ్ చేశారు, దాని పక్కది లెఫ్ట్ది కదా.
No, this is a scaled Agilist is complete. Oh, sorry. Yeah. SSM, right? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, this is Advanced Scrum Master, and this is a Scrum Master. Okay. So Scaled Agile Scrum Master, this is what the job that we are targeting to. Having this badge on your profile is very important. And I'll give you a tip. 90% of the chances, even if you put a badge, nobody recognize it. But is it a good practice? No. And some people, they may ask whether you have that real badge or not. They will ask for the certification and you need to provide the evidence for it. Okay. Even if you don't have and put that badge, is not the good practice, but still can. I've been seeing many people doing it too. Okay, but anyway, so these are the 3 courses that we are offering, and these are the different paths. And why do we need to have this Scrum Master is, here it is. Why do we need to have Scrum Master certification is, these are the jobs posted in 2023. Out of these jobs, these many number of, in each job posting site, they mention CSM 13,000 times. Okay, CSPO, which is another certification, PSM, CSP, these all are different certifications. They posted their roles in this, which they call it as like LinkedIn mentioned this 13,000 times, Indeed mentioned 13,000 times, and Simply Hired, or these all are like 30,000 times they mention about CSM. 17,000 times they mention, 17,000 job postings that they mention about this. So then why are we learning about SSM instead of CSM? Majority of you know, we used to call water, mineral water as a Bisleri water, right? People from India, they know. There's a standard term, right? Instead of calling mineral water bottle, we call it as a Bisleri water bottle.
Another good example is Xerox.
Yeah, Xerox. That's true. The copier is a Xerox and mission. So even in Agile, we have the term. Certified Scrum Master is a standard term, and Certified Scrum Master as a certification given by Agile Scrum Alliance is also a different term. That is one of the reasons they mentioned, but they meant CSM instead of CSM. They want Certified Scrum Masters, Scrum Master with certification, and they tag to this one. But what they want nowadays, SSM, which is a scaled Agile, with enterprise organizations, this is becoming popular, and we are offering this course, and this is very popular. And compared to CSM, the pay grade of SSM is higher, slightly higher. It's like a $2,000 to $10,000 difference that you will see compared to the standard certified Scrum Master. Okay, PSM is another popular one. You don't need to go through any classroom training. It's $150 that you can pay for the certification fees, and you can acquire certification. Okay, so these are the benefits of having certifications versus not having certifications. And not having certifications, people may not even look into your profile. Okay, so coming back to the courses that we are offering, these are the 3 courses. Safe for Teams, which is a Safe Practitioner. This is 2 days training, and each day we have what distribution of each module that we'll be talking about. And this is Safe for Teams, and this is Safe Scrum Master. This is again 2 days, 2 days of training, 8 hours of training, including breaks. And this is where we have more value to be a Scrum Master. This is a project manager level role. The next one is a Safe Release Train Engineer, which is a program manager level grade. And if you look at here, where is this? If you look at here, the Scrum Master is at the team level. This is the role, which is a project manager level. RT is a level above, which is equivalent to program manager. Program manager is nothing but you will have a, or release train engineer is nothing but you will have more Scrum Masters report to you. So these are the trainings that we are offering on a discounted prices for Atmiya. And
sir, can we do quick question, sir? Can we do program RTE without SSM?
Yeah, none of these are dependent on each other, but it is highly recommended to go one step at a time rather than jumping into directly that. But yes, you can do RTE without having SSM or any other certifications.
Thank you.
But you need to have a proper understanding level. If you know the lower level, then only you can understand the next level, right?
Yeah,
so,
thank you.
All right. So these are the courses that we are offering. And apart from this, we have another topic. So we even do the job-oriented training programs, and this interview preparation or resume preparation and all is covered as part of it. And there are 3 modes of operations that we always say. people who are educated, who are knowledgeable, there may not be chance that you may be successful in clearing the interview. And people who are technically knowledgeable or having work experience doesn't mean that you can clear the interviews, right? People who are good at interviews doesn't mean that you can be successful Scrum Master. So these are three different mode of operations. But what fetches you the job is interview. So there is a psychological drive to win these interviews, and particularly Scrum Master, since it's not any subject or any particular tool, the questions are very realistic and very situational basis, and we need to handle it psychologically. And our interview program covers exclusive to handle these kind of interviews. So basically, to compare this is like a movie and trailer, right? So interview is your
దానికంటే గుర్తుండిపోయే విధానం ఒకటి చెప్తాను. మీరు బాగా కనిపించాల్సింది పెళ్లిలో కాదండి, పెళ్లి చూపుల్లో. ఎందుకంటే పెళ్లి చూపుల్లో సెలెక్ట్ అయితే ఇక పెళ్లిలో సెలెక్ట్ అయిపోయినట్టే కదా! అక్కడ ఎలా కనిపించినా ప్రాబ్లమ్ లేదు. సో పెళ్లి చూపుల్లో జాగ్రత్తగా కనిపించాలి మీరు. కాబట్టి
that
దట్
is
ఈస్
true.
ఇట్సెల్ఫ్ ఇస్ అన్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. యాహ్!
That is true. Good analogy. Yeah. So even that, it's like a movie trailer. Sometimes it's based on the movie trailer only that you go to the movie. And once you go to the movie, majority of the cases, there may or may not be matching your expectations, right? This is what it is. So we will be preparing you for interview for 1 hour. I don't see nowadays it's like Scrum Master interviews are 1 hour. It's hardly 30 minutes, but it is good and bad, because 30 minutes your interview will be wrapped up quickly, but some cases you may not be walking them through all these different scenarios that you wanted to make them realize that you're experienced. So how do we handle? It's a very key skill to get into job, to get into the high paid job also. So this is very useful. Okay, so this is one thing that we are offering in the separate note. And then the last, what are our next steps? So we have a document that people with a different interest needs to fill. And once you fill that form, we will be dividing into 3 different groups: certification, job training, and Scrum Master training. So we'll be starting from Scrum Master training. Right after that, people with interest of job will be carried into different group. People with certification will be carried into different group. So classes are starting from, not 12, 2, 3. Bhanagaru, can you take over? What is our class time? And
ఐ థింక్ ఏదో యాంగులర్ క్లాస్ ఉందని చెప్పారు కాబట్టి రేపు లేదు. బట్ ఫ్రమ్ మండే వీ విల్ హ్యావ్ ద క్లాసెస్ రైట్ ఫ్రమ్ 8:30 PM CST టు 9:30 అన్నారు, కానీ 10 అయిపోద్ది దాదాపు. మీకు కొంచెం EST వాళ్ళకి ఇన్కన్వీనియన్స్, కానీ భరించండి ప్లీజ్. ఎందుకంటే 8:30 అంటే 6:30 PST అండి. సో అది కొంచెం మీరు మైండ్లో పెట్టుకోండి. అందుకనే మేము ఇలా డిజైన్ చేయటం జరిగింది. I think we will go as quickly as possible. Within 1.5 hours of each day, we will try to wind up. But one thing is, please attend all these classes which are like చాలా బేసిక్ క్లాసెస్. దాని తర్వాత ఈ ఈ క్లాసెస్ అటెండ్ అయిన తర్వాత ఆయన చెప్పిన SSM సర్టిఫికేషన్కి ఈజీ అవుతుంది మీకు. లేకపోతే ఇది చేయలేదు. సారీ అబౌట్ మై థ్రోట్ అండి, ఐఎమ్ హ్యావింగ్ ప్రాబ్లమ్. కాబట్టి ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ క్లాస్ is important. After that, once you go into the certification, it is more serious matter. It is only for those people who are enrolling. Of course, there is a cost for it, because I think Adigar also has to pay to the center. నాకు కొంచెం వివరాలు తెలియదు, మీరు చెప్పండి Adigar.
yeah. So basically there is a license cost that is included within that, and whatever the fee that you pay is including the first time attending the certification cost. Okay, and we have to pay for that organization to enable that license.
So, ఒక 20 days తర్వాతనండి, ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. 20 days are all free classes. There is no restriction on any this thing. But after that, ఎందుకంటే అది you will be going into the studio. Actually, you will be learning a lot of things in the studio. Studio అంటే ఏంటంటే SSM మాడ్యూల్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతారు, లోపలికి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, అదంతా చేస్తారు. కాబట్టి అదంతా రిజిస్టర్డ్ మెంబర్స్ మాత్రమే వెళ్ళగలరు. ఎవరికంటే వాళ్ళకి యాక్సెస్ ఇవ్వడం కుదరదు. ఇట్స్ దేర్ ఇస్ నో వే దట్ వీ కెన్ డూ అ టెలికాస్ట్. సో కాబట్టి మీరు తప్పకుండా ఎన్రోల్ అవ్వాలి దానికోసం. ఓన్లీ సీరియస్ పీపుల్ విల్ బి గోయింగ్ ఇన్ టు దట్ అండి. And Adi Garu is certified. So I think whosoever is coming into that will have a certification, will help you in the exam process and interview process also thereafter. అదే అంటున్నాను కదా, హ్యాండ్ హోల్డింగ్ అయితే ఉంటుందండి. మనకి ఎంత లక్ ఉంది, ఎంత ఈజీగా మనం వెళ్ళగలుగుతున్నాం అనేది ఇట్ ఆల్ డిపెండ్స్ అపాన్ ద ఫ్యూచర్. వీ డోంట్ నో అబౌట్ ద ఫ్యూచర్, బట్ వీ విల్ ఆల్ బీ దేర్ విత్ యూ till the time you want to be with us. That's it.
I have one question for
Yeah.
Adi.
Mhm.
See, it's safe program. It's keep on leveling up. 4, 5.
Yes.
Now
Yes,
it is.
yes.
How
Mhm.
frequently these changes are?
There is no standard practice, and it's been almost like 10 years that they. It started in 2013, Scaled Agile Framework, and they released 6 versions within this time. Right. So out of these 6 versions, they have different timelines that they used, and very recently they went from 5.1 to 6 directly because of the AI and because of the DevSecOps practice. So industry is rapidly changing. They only up version whenever there is a rapid change in the industry, right? If you look at here, they added AI here, artificial intelligence that is playing the key role. And because of the COVID, work from home became the norm, and remote working policy practices, that is another big thing, and they adopted that culture within this. So, and even the trainings earlier, these are all mandatory in-person trainings, classroom trainings. Now even they created the flexibility to run these virtual classrooms, all of these. So every time they enhance the practice, they go with the major version. Otherwise, they go with the minor versions.
So it means once they level up to this safe.
Yeah, depends on the industry, change on the industry, they will come up with the up versions. Otherwise,
Even
they
though
go
it
with
is sorry sir, even though it is a level up to the next 7, safe 7, the safe 6 certification is still hold valid, or?
Oh yeah, you can upgrade. It's like you don't have to pay for it. You can upgrade directly from let us say 6 to whatever the next one. So right now, people, this just started last year, March 6 version, and it's been a year, and majority of the people not even upgraded from 5.1 to 6. Still they give it for free. But there is a maintenance cost every year. You need to pay X amount of dollars to maintain this certification. That is important.
Yeah, and there is an exam also if you want to get into the next level. It's like 5 చేసాం కదా, 6 కి ఆటోమేటిక్ అప్గ్రేడ్ వస్తుంది అంటే కాదు, మళ్ళీ ఎగ్జామ్ రాయాలనుకుంటాను. బట్ దట్ ఈస్ అ ఫ్రీ ఎగ్జామ్. ఇట్స్ నాట్ లైక్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు పే ఫర్ దట్ ఎగ్జామ్ అగైన్.
Yeah.
So that maintenance cost.
Can we ask somebody to stop the recording, please, here?